Imagine a world where everything unknown fills you with fear, where the sun, the moon, and the stars are not celestial bodies but gods with their own will. A world in which lightning is a sign of divine wrath, and diseases are punishments for impure acts. This is how our story began. Since time immemorial, humanity has sought answers, and in that search, myths, religions, and beliefs were born shaping our societies. But today, we live in a different era. Science has illuminated the darkest corners of our ignorance, reason has challenged absolute truths, and empathy has proven to be a more powerful moral compass than the fear of divine punishment. In this video, we will explore how religion evolved from being the only answer to the unknown, to becoming an idea that is increasingly questioned. We will see how power, control, and morality have been influenced by faith, and how rational thought has changed our way of seeing the world. Stay until the end, because what you discover here might change your perspective on the past, present, and future of humanity. For centuries, religion has been one of the fundamental pillars of our existence. Since ancient times, we have looked to the sky for answers, seeking in myths and spiritual doctrines the keys to understanding the mystery of the world around us. But today, that need for religion as a universal explanation seems to have faded. Science, reason, and empathy have begun to replace the old certainties that religious beliefs once offered. However, how did we get here? What happened throughout history for such a powerful institution as religion to be challenged and stripped of its almost indisputable authority? And more importantly, how has this led us to redefine morality and the meaning of our existence without relying on ancient myths? Today, we are going to explore how religion emerged as a survival necessity, how it was used as a tool of control and power, how thinkers throughout history have challenged its absolute truths, and how, in a historical turning point, humanity has begun to question and move beyond these ancient narratives. At the beginning of time, when humans were still struggling to understand the natural phenomena around them, religion emerged as a fundamental answer. Living in a world full of mysteries like the birth of the stars, storms, or the changing seasons required an explanation. Humans not only feared these phenomena, they saw them as a sign of something superior, something beyond their control. Thus, myths were born, myths that spoke of gods controlling the rain, the sun, and the earth, myths that offered a sense of security in times of uncertainty. In many ancient cultures, deities were present in every aspect of nature. The Greeks and Romans had gods of the sea, the sky, and war. The Egyptians saw the Nile River as the divine manifestation of Osiris. And the Maya, in their sophisticated worldview, attributed cosmic cycles to the gods that governed their lives. These stories not only served to explain the unexplainable, but also provided a moral and social framework. They offered rules on how to live in harmony with the universe and with one another. Societies, which at first were small and tribal, began to organize in more complex ways, and religions played a crucial role in holding them together. Sacrifices were common in these early religions. People offered valuable things, food, precious objects, or even human lives in hopes of receiving protection, good harvests, or divine intervention in times of crisis. Religion, then, became a negotiation between humans and the divine. But as societies grew, so did their gods. They ceased to be mere forces of nature and transformed into symbols of political power. In Egypt, for example, pharaohs were not just monarchs, they were considered living gods. Questioning the pharaoh was not just an act of rebellion against authority, but a challenge to the divine itself. Religions did not only serve to explain the world and control nature, they were also a powerful tool of social control. Religious structures were deeply intertwined with political structures, and often, religious and political authorities merged. A clear example of this is ancient Rome, where the emperor saw himself as a divine figure. In many cases, religious authorities dictated laws and controlled political decisions. As civilizations advanced, so did the forms of power founded on religion. During the Middle Ages in Europe, the Catholic Church became one of the most powerful institutions not just in spiritual terms but also in politics, education, and everyday life. An example of the control that the Church exercised over society is the Inquisition, a dark period in which religious dissent was not only rejected but severely punished. Those who questioned the Church's authority or the interpretations of sacred scriptures were subjected to torture and, in many cases, death. This control over thought and belief became one of the most effective tools of social domination for centuries. However, despite the Church's absolute power, voices began to emerge that questioned established religious teachings. In ancient Greece, philosophers such as Socrates, Plato, and Aristotle started challenging mythological explanations of the world and promoting the use of reason as the only path to truth. The great shift came in the 17th and 18th centuries with the rise of the Enlightenment. Enlightenment was an intellectual movement that promoted the use of reason over divine revelation. Thinkers such as René Descartes, John Locke, and Voltaire questioned the validity of traditional religious beliefs and promoted a new worldview based on observation, logic, and evidence. This period was crucial in helping humanity begin to free itself from religious constraints. Reason started to be seen as the most reliable guide to understanding the universe. Scientific advancements such as the work of Galileo Galilei and later that of Charles Darwin directly challenged the Church's teachings on the creation of the world, the structure of the cosmos, and the origins of life. With the scientific revolution, humanity began to gain a more accurate understanding of nature. Religious explanations about the origins of the universe and life were replaced by scientific theories based on observation and experimentation. Religion, which for so long had served as the foundation of human morality, started to be viewed from a new critical perspective. The sacred scriptures, which for centuries were considered infallible, contain passages that justify violence, discrimination, and oppression. The Bible, the Quran, and other sacred texts have been interpreted throughout history to justify wars, slavery, and the subjugation of women. This sparked a major ethical controversy. Is it morally acceptable for a religion that preaches love and peace to also contain justifications for violence and oppression? How can a benevolent God allow so much suffering in the world? The question of religious morality has been one of the central points of debate on religion in modern times. Questions about the existence of a just and all-powerful God, in the face of human suffering and natural disasters, have become increasingly difficult to answer coherently within the framework of traditional religion. Today, we live in a world where science, reason, and empathy have replaced many of the answers that religion once provided. Religion, which originally served as a tool for survival and explanation, has largely been replaced by scientific knowledge. Science has allowed us to understand the universe in ways we could only imagine before. We have unraveled the secrets of the cosmos, from the structure of the atom to the vastness of the universe. Medicine and technology have improved our quality of life in ways that once seemed impossible. Empathy, on the other hand, has replaced many of the old moral rules imposed by religions. Humanity has begun to understand that morality does not need to be based on obedience to a divine being, but on the ability to understand and share the suffering of others. Human rights, equality, and social justice are now the guiding principles of ethical decision-making in much of the world. The history of religion is a story of transformation, of struggles for power, and of the evolution of human thought. From its humble beginnings as a way to explain the world to its transformation into a tool of control, religion has been a constant in human history. But humanity has grown. We have left behind ancient myths and moved forward, guided by reason, science, and empathy. And in doing so, we have found new ways to understand our world, our morality, and our place in the universe. The history of religion is not a tale of failure, but of change. The legacy it leaves us is a call to question, to reflect, and to move forward without fear. And that is the true challenge of the 21st century, to keep questioning, keep learning, and keep advancing. And so, we come to the end of this journey through the history of religion, science, and human morality. We have explored how, throughout time, humanity has sought answers to the unknown, and how those answers have evolved from ancient myths to scientific advancements and modern ethical understanding. Now more than ever, it is time to reflect on the future. A future where reason, empathy, and knowledge will guide our decisions and help us build a fairer, more inclusive, and more understanding world. But for this to be possible, we must all be part of the change. If this video made you think, I invite you to subscribe, like, and share it with those who are also interested in understanding how we got here and where we are going. Also, leave us your comments. What do you think about a future without religion? Do you believe science and empathy are the keys to a better world? I'd love to read your opinion. See you in the next video, where we will continue exploring the great topics that define our existence. See you soon.